All right, so we're diving into some seriously personal stuff today, like intensely personal. We're talking your Capricorn horoscope for March 2025 and using Lorenzo's predictions as, well, our guide. He's known for, that bold and precise style.
Yeah, and what's interesting about Lorenzo is he really doesn't sugarcoat anything. He just goes straight into those planetary movements and gives it to you straight. You know what I mean? Like his readings they can be pretty accurate, sometimes even like shockingly so.
Okay, so no sugarcoating. Got it. So think of this deep dive as your cosmic wake-up call, Capricorn. All right. We're going to break down all of Lorenzo's predictions, help you hopefully understand the energy of the month ahead, and maybe even help you prepare for what's coming.
Exactly. It's all about understanding what could be coming up for you, both the good and the bad, the challenges and the opportunities, and using that knowledge to kind of go through the month with a little more alongness, with more intention.
Yeah, I like that. So Lorenzo structures his horoscope in a very specific way, like he goes week by week, offering insights into what you can expect during each period. So I guess let's start with March 1st through the 10th, right? What does he say about that?
Get ready for some serious foundational shifts. He says home, family, and that feeling of financial security, that's all taking center stage. It's a good time to kind of look at what really supports you, and also what might be holding you back.
So should we be like expecting some big upheavals during this time?
Well, Saturn is in your fourth house of home and family. So, yeah, there's definitely like this theme of responsibility and restructuring. This could look like, having to deal with those longstanding issues, maybe setting some firmer boundaries with family members, or even changing up your living situation.
Interesting. So early March is about like getting our house in order, right? Literally and figuratively.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so then we move into March 11th to the 20th, and this is where things get even more interesting, I think. Lorenzo warns about like these rapid mindset changes. It's almost like he says a veil is being lifted, illusions are shattering. It sounds kind of intense.
It is. This period, it aligns with a few different planetary transits, especially Mercury conjunct Uranus in your third house of communication and your thought processes. So this suggests a time of like those sudden insights, right? Unexpected breakthroughs, and maybe a shift in your overall perspective.
So like a total overhaul of our belief systems during this time.
Not necessarily a total overhaul, but definitely a period of like questioning and reassessing and being open to new perspectives. You might find yourself, challenging those long held beliefs or suddenly seeing things in a completely different way.
It's like a mental and emotional reboot.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, and finally we've got March 21st to the 31st, and it's decision time. Relationships, career moves, personal boundaries. Lorenzo says it all demands your attention now, and he's really pushing this idea of action. No more sitting on the fence, he says.
This is where the energy of the whole month kind of reaches its peak. Like everything has been leading up to this final phase of, actually doing something, taking action, and using those insights you've gained. So with Mars entering your seventh house of relationships on March 23rd, there's like a big emphasis on being assertive, taking initiative, and really making your needs known.
So Lorenzo's message here is pretty clear, right? No more procrastination, no more second guessing.
Absolutely. It's time to really step into your power and make those bold moves that, align with that new clarity you found. It's all about taking ownership of your life and creating the future you want.
Love it. Okay, now let's dive into Lorenzo's predictions for love and relationships, because this is where things get really interesting. And as always, he doesn't hold back. He says, and I quote, "No more lies, no more half-hearted connections. The truth is coming out."
I mean, that's quite a statement.
Right. What's really powerful here is how he emphasizes Venus retrograde in Aries. And that just happens to be in your fourth house of home and family. This retrograde cycle, which starts on March 2nd and goes all the way to March 27th, is known for, well, bringing up past issues, forcing those difficult conversations, and even, triggering breakups or separations.
So it's like a time when Capricorns need to be ready for some serious relationship shakeups.
Definitely a time for honesty, being vulnerable, and really being willing to face the truth about your relationships, even if it's not, the easiest thing to do. Like hidden resentments or those conflicts you haven't really dealt with, they could come to the surface, and that can lead to some pretty intense conversations and, yeah, potentially even breakups or separations. Okay, wow, that sounds pretty intense. So what's the best way for Capricorns to, navigate this potentially tumultuous period?
I think the key is to approach these challenges with self-awareness and compassion. It's a time for deep reflection, for honest communication, and maybe even a willingness to let go of those relationships that are no longer serving you, like those that aren't really contributing to your highest good.
So it's about recognizing your worth and not settling for anything less than you deserve, right?
Exactly. And it's also important to remember that Venus eventually moves back into Pisces, which is your third house of communication, towards the end of March. This suggests that some of these tough conversations might reach a turning point, but it also gives you a chance to, set clearer boundaries and expectations.
So there's a chance to save those relationships that are worth saving, but it takes a willingness to face the truth, right? And to communicate honestly. Okay, let's move on to career and finances. Lorenzo talks about building long-term stability, making calculated moves, and avoiding those reckless decisions. Sounds like pretty solid advice, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, for sure. Especially with Pluto and Aquarius, which is moving through your second house of values and self-worth. This transit, which actually started back in 2023 and will last for like 2 decades, is all about transformation on a really deep fundamental level. It's about making sure your financial decisions, they line up with your core values and, building that solid foundation for the future.
Okay, but then he throws in a little twist, He warns about potential hidden enemies in the workplace. He links this to Lilith and Libra in your 10th house of career. So while we're busy building our empires, we also have to watch our backs.
It's just a reminder to be careful about, who you trust and to be mindful of potential power struggles or like hidden agendas. It's not about becoming paranoid or anything, but just being aware of what's going on and, navigating those dynamics strategically. And this becomes even more important as Lilith moves into Scorpio, your 11th house of friends and social networks, on March 28th. This shift could bring some drama or, those hidden agendas from your workplace into your social life, which can be tricky.
So it's not just being cautious in our professional lives, but also in our personal lives.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, let's move on to a topic that I know resonates with a lot of Capricorns, mental and physical health. What does Lorenzo have to say about this?
Well, he's sending a very clear warning. Pushing too hard, it comes at a cost. Capricorns are known for, their incredible work ethic, but even you need to prioritize self-care and set those boundaries.
So even though there's a lot going on this month, especially in our careers and relationships, we can't neglect our well-being.
Exactly. This connects directly to the presence of Saturn and Neptune in Pisces, which are currently moving through your third house of communication and mental processes. This combination can bring up old wounds or like those unresolved emotions, which can lead to stress and even, impact your physical health.
Okay, so we need to be really mindful of our mental and emotional health during this time, for sure. What are some like practical things that Capricorns can do to, prioritize self-care and set those boundaries?
It could be anything from setting firm boundaries at work or with, demanding people to actually seeking professional help if you need it. Remember, self-care isn't just about like bubble baths and meditation. It's about tackling those deeper issues and making sure you're not, sacrificing your well-being for the sake of achievement.
It's about creating that sanctuary for yourself, a space where you can feel safe and grounded and supported.
Yeah, exactly. And this is super important for Capricorns because, you guys are known for overworking and pushing yourselves to the limit. March is a reminder to prioritize your well-being and find a sustainable pace that allows you to thrive, really.
All right, wow, that was a lot to take in. I think we need to take a break here and give our listeners a chance to, process all of this information. When we come back, we'll dive into Lorenzo's highlighted dates and those cosmic events that are going to be shaping the energy of March 2025 for Capricorn. So stay tuned.
Welcome back, all right? So we talked about the overall energy of March 2025 for Capricorn. Now let's get into the specifics. Lorenzo highlights some key dates and cosmic events that are particularly significant. So he starts things off with the total lunar eclipse in Virgo, which happens on March 14th. Now, this eclipse falls in your ninth house of beliefs, your long-term goals, and higher learning.
Okay, so big stuff. This sounds like a pretty powerful moment for Capricorns, right?
Yeah, it really is. It's a time of culmination, like a time when those hidden truths kind of come to light. This could manifest as like a sudden realization about your life path, maybe a shift in your belief system, or even a major decision that, changes the course of your journey.
Wow. Okay. So how do we navigate this like potentially intense energy?
I think it's about surrendering to the process of change. Don't resist those shifts that are happening. Just embrace them. Trust that the universe is guiding you towards something, towards a higher purpose, even if it doesn't make sense right now.
It's about having faith in the unfolding of your life, even when things feel uncertain, right?
Exactly. Now, just a few days later, on March 20th, we have the sun entering Aries, and this marks the beginning of like a new astrological year. And it also happens to fall in your fourth house of home, family, and those emotional foundations. This seems significant.
Yeah, for sure. New beginnings, especially in our personal lives. What does that look like with the sun in Aries?
Well, with the sun in Aries, there's a focus on independence, being assertive and taking initiative. And in your fourth house, this energy can show up as a desire to create like a home environment that truly reflects your authentic self, you know, or it could even trigger the need to address maybe some unresolved issues with family members.
So it's a time for setting boundaries and speaking your truth.
Absolutely. It's about creating that space where you feel safe, secure, and empowered to be yourself. Now, and just to add to the intensity, we have another major event just a few days later, a new moon and partial solar eclipse in Aries, again in your fourth house, on March 29th.
Whoa, 2 eclipses in 1 month. That's a lot of cosmic energy to handle.
Yeah, it is, but this new moon and solar eclipse is like a really powerful opportunity to set new intentions and kind of plant those seeds for the future. It's about taking the lessons you've learned from the lunar eclipse and using them to create a fresh start in your personal life. Think of it as a cosmic reset button.
Okay, so I'm seeing a pattern here. It seems like March is all about confronting the truth, embracing change, and actually taking action to, create a life that's more aligned with who we really are.
Yeah, that's a great observation. Lorenzo's predictions, while intense, are ultimately empowering, I think. By understanding these astrological influences, you can go through this month with, more awareness and intention. It's not about predicting doom and gloom or anything, but rather about giving you the tools to create your own destiny.
Exactly. So Capricorn, take a deep breath, buckle up, and get ready for a wild ride. And remember, you're not alone in this. We're here to support you every step of the way.
Now, let's dig into some specifics about Lorenzo's month-by-month breakdown. He talks about how important early March is for reassessing, your communication, thought patterns, and daily routines. And this aligns with, like, all the planetary emphasis on your third house.
Right, so early March is about, like, taking stock of our mental landscape, right? Examining how we communicate and maybe tweaking some of our daily habits. It's like setting the stage for the bigger changes that are to come.
Exactly. Then, as we move into mid-March, things get even more intense, with Venus and Mercury retrograde, both in your fourth house, along with that lunar eclipse in your ninth house. It's a time of like major realizations, especially when it comes to relationships and, your long-term direction.
That sounds intense. Is there anything Capricorns can do to, prepare for this cosmic shakeup?
I think the best way to prepare is to be honest with yourself, about what's working and what's not working in your life. Don't be afraid to ask those tough questions, like what relationships are draining your energy? What beliefs are holding you back? What changes do you need to make to create a life that really lights you up?
So it's about taking ownership of our lives and making choices that really align with those deepest desires and values, right?
Precisely. And then finally, we reach late March with the sun entering Aries and that solar eclipse in your fourth house. This suggests a major shift in focus towards home, stability, and those emotional foundations. It's like the culmination of all the work you've done throughout the month, and it leads to, a sense of renewal and being grounded.
So even though March might start off with a bang, it ends with a sense of hope and possibility.
Exactly. It's about integrating those lessons you've learned, and establishing a stronger sense of self and creating that solid foundation for the future.
Now, Lorenzo specifically talks about Capricorn's communication style, relationships, and values as areas that will be in the spotlight this month. Let's dive a little deeper into those.
Okay, so starting with communication, Lorenzo really emphasizes the need for clarity, honesty and authenticity. He suggests that Capricorns might need to like reassess how they communicate, especially in those close relationships. This could involve maybe speaking their truth more openly, setting clearer boundaries, or even just being more mindful of their words and actions.
So it's not just about what we say, but how we say it.
Exactly. It's about being mindful of the impact our words have on others, and making sure that our communication is coming from a place of integrity and respect.
Okay, and what about relationship? Lorenzo seems to have a lot to say about this area of life for Capricorns in March.
Right. His message is pretty clear. No more settling, no more tolerating those toxic dynamics, and no more hiding your true self. This is a time to embrace your authenticity and, surround yourself with people who support your growth and evolution.
So it's about recognizing our worth and refusing to settle for anything less than we deserve.
Precisely. And this goes for all types of relationships, whether they're romantic, platonic, or even professional. Now, Lorenzo also talks about how important it is to make sure your financial decisions are aligned with your core values. This suggests, a period of deep reflection on what truly matters to you and making choices that support your long-term well-being, not just those short-term desires.
So it's not just about making money, but making sure that our financial decisions are in sync with our values and priorities.
Exactly. It's about creating a life of abundance, but one that goes beyond, material possessions. It's about living a life that feels authentic and meaningful.
Okay, I'm starting to see the bigger picture here. It's like Lorenzo's giving us a blueprint for creating a life that's not just successful, but also deeply fulfilling.
Yeah, he is. And I think it's a message that, resonates with all of us, regardless of our astrological sign. We all crave that sense of purpose, meaning, and connection. The key is to be willing to do the inner work, to face those shadows, and, make choices that are aligned with our highest aspirations.
Beautifully said. And that brings us to, like, the heart of Lorenzo's message. This is not a time for passivity. March demands action. It's about taking ownership of your life, making conscious choices, and stepping into your power.
Yeah, exactly. And this applies to every area of life, from your relationships to your career to your overall well-being. It's about recognizing that you are, the architect of your own destiny and that you have the power to create the life you want.
So Capricorn, what are you waiting for? March is your month to shine.
It is. Embrace the challenges, celebrate those breakthroughs, and, step boldly into the unknown.
All right, that was inspiring. We've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive. When we come back, we'll take a closer look at the specific planetary transits that are shaping the energy of March 2025 for Capricorn. Stay tuned. Okay, so we're back, and now it's time to, like, really geek out a little bit. Lorenzo doesn't just pull these predictions out of thin air, you know what I mean?
Right.
He actually explains the specific planetary movements that are creating all this intense energy for Capricorn in March 2025. And this is where it gets really interesting for, those of us who love astrology. Are you ready to decode those cosmic messages?
Oh, absolutely. I love how he connects these planetary movements to like their real world impact on us. It's like having a cosmic roadmap.
Yeah, exactly. It's like understanding the language of the universe, right? So Lorenzo's predictions are based on how these planetary transits are affecting Capricorn's 2nd, 3rd, 4th, ninth, and 10th houses. That's a lot.
Yeah, a lot of astrological activity. No wonder March is looking like such a multifaceted and potentially transformative time for Capricorns.
It's like a cosmic renovation project for your life. So let's break down some of the key players here. Lorenzo starts by highlighting the major themes of, like, stability, mental clarity, and personal power. He links those themes to the sun's journey through Pisces and Aries during March.
Right. The sun represents our core identity, our willpower, and that life force energy. So as it moves through different signs and houses, it's like it shines a light on different areas of our lives and, brings certain themes to our attention.
Okay, so in early March, with the sun in Pisces, which is your 3rd house of communication and, mental processes, the focus is on, like, reassessing how you think, how you communicate, and how you process information. It's like cleaning out all that mental clutter and sharpening your mental focus.
Exactly, like spring cleaning for your mind.
I like that. And then on March 20th, the sun moves into Aries, which is your 4th house of home, family, and, emotional foundations. This shift brings a renewed focus on stability, security, and creating, like, a really harmonious home environment.
Right, so it's like the energy goes from more mental, intellectual focus to a more emotional, grounded one.
Yeah, exactly. And that aligns with what Lorenzo was saying about, home, family, and financial matters being front and center all month long.
It's all about building that solid foundation, both internally and externally.
Now, we can't forget about Venus retrograde. Lorenzo really emphasizes this transit, which happens to be in Aries, your 4th house, from March 2nd to 27th.
Oh yeah, Venus retrograde, always a fun one. It's known for, shaking things up in our relationships, bringing up old patterns and those unresolved issues. It's a time when we're asked to, like, really think about our values around love, beauty, and connection.
And because it's in your 4th house of home and family, this retrograde could, stir up some tension, maybe require you to face some uncomfortable truths. There's a chance for arguments, breakups, or even needing to redefine those boundaries in your closest relationships.
Yeah, it can be tough, but it's a chance for growth and, deeper understanding. The key is to approach these challenges with honesty and compassion, both for yourself and for others.
And the good news is that Venus moves back into Pisces, your third house of communication, on March 28th. So there's a chance to smooth things over, have those heart-to-heart talks, and maybe even rekindle that flame if it's meant to be.
Right. It's a good time to find your voice, and really express your needs and desires clearly and authentically. Communication is key during this final phase of Venus's journey through your chart.
Okay, so communication is crucial throughout March. Got it. Now, what about Pluto in Aquarius? Lorenzo mentioned this transit in connection with finances.
Yeah, Pluto is a big one. It's a planet of transformation. In Aquarius, which is your second house of values and self-worth, it's really pushing you to, reassess your relationship with money, your possessions, and that sense of security.
So it's not just about being financially stable, but about understanding what's truly important to us on a deeper level, right?
Exactly. Aligning your financial decisions with those core values and creating a life of abundance that goes beyond just, material wealth.
Okay, I like that. Now, Lorenzo also brought up Lilith in Libra, which is in your 10th house of career right now. He connected this transit to, potential hidden enemies in the workplace.
Yeah, Lilith is interesting. It represents that shadow self, the part of us that we tend to repress or deny. And in Libra, your 10th house of career and public image, it can stir up some, power struggles, maybe jealousy or those hidden agendas.
So should Capricorns be worried about backstepping colleagues or office drama?
It's not about being paranoid, but just being aware of the dynamics at play in your professional life. Trust your gut and be smart about who you confide in.
Right. It's about knowing your worth and not letting anyone, undermine your confidence or your success. And remember, Lilith shifts into Scorpio, your 11th house of friends and social networks, on March 28th. So it's good to be mindful of those energy dynamics in your social circle, too.
Absolutely. Now, let's not forget about those key dates and cosmic events that Lorenzo highlighted. We've already talked about that total lunar eclipse in Virgo on March 14th, the new moon and partial solar eclipse in Aries on March 29th, and the sun entering Aries on March 20th.
Yeah, those are some major astrological events. It sounds like March is going to be a wild ride for Capricorns.
It might be, but remember, it's not about being afraid of the challenges.
Right.
It's about understanding those energies and using that knowledge to, make conscious choices that are in alignment with your highest good.
So Capricorn, as you go through all the ups and downs of March, remember that you have the power to create your own destiny. Embrace the unknown, step into your power, and, never stop reaching for the stars.
And don't forget to let us know how it goes. We love hearing how you're navigating this cosmic journey.
All right, that's it for this deep dive into Capricorn's horoscope for March 2025. Thanks for joining us, and until next time, stay strong, stay true, and keep shining bright.